Showa Godzilla, the original king of the monsters and the main Kickstarter of the kaiju genre. In Monsterverse Godzilla, the modern-day incarnation of the G-Man himself, single-handedly bringing back the Godzilla franchise out of its retirement. Both of these Godzillas have some of the best fights of any era, both showing great feats in strength, speed, and intelligence. Now, if you're new here, welcome. But to those who have been here for a while, you already know what we're going to talk about. Around here, rather than having two Godzillas fight each other, we do it a little differently. What if they swapped verses? How would they perform? And can they beat each other's enemies? Hello everyone, I'm Godzilla Guy, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we'll be discussing what will play out if Showa Godzilla fought the Monsterverse. Now firstly, we'll be covering Showa Godzilla's feats, and then going over how he'd do against the Monsterverse kaiju. Showa Godzilla will be running the same bracket Heisei Godzilla ran through. Wait, that was 4 months ago? My god, time flies. Alright. And before we show up his bracket, I just want to thank you guys so much for 40,000 subscribers. You guys are truly making YouTube my job, which has been a dream since I was a little kid. Now where'd I put Heisei's bracket? Got it. Alright, let me wipe the dust off. The bracket Showa Godzilla will be climbing through is Scylla, Behemoth, Amulek, the male and female Muto, Muto Prime, Kong with his axe, Mecha Godzilla, King Ghidorah, and finally Shinomura. So let's dive in. Please consider subscribing to the channel and enjoy. Starting with Showa Godzilla's strength. Now, when I went over his strength in the Showa Godzilla Millennium Era video, which I recommend you watch after this, we talked about his feat of lifting and throwing Zandora, a kaiju from Zone Fighter, which, yes, is canon to the Showa Era timeline. Now, to those who don't know, which I don't blame you, Zandora weighs a whopping 91,000 metric tons, so he is really well off in the strength department. Next up is his speed. Well, firstly, of course, he can fly at Mach 1, already being faster than most of the Monsterverse kaiju, but the main thing will be his running speed, as he's able to keep up with the likes of Jet Jaguar and Zone Fighter. Onto his durability. He's able to take King Ghidorah's beams like they're nothing. These are the same beams that are more powerful than guns that can one-tap planets. Now, granted, we don't know how large the planet is, what it's made out of, so, I mean, it could just be a gas giant, and so, anyway. And he is easily one of the smartest Godzillas, being able to understand human gestures, talk, and work in a team. Now, there is one major thing I forgot to go about in his last video, that being his weaknesses, showing that acid does a lot of damage, and on many occasions, sharp objects will usually cut into him. Anyways, with all out of the way, let's dive in. Starting off with Scylla.
Big punch, son.
Yeah, I don't think I need to go in depth on this one. He would just throw her into orbit and move on. Next up is Behemoth. Now there's one advantage Showa Godzilla has over Heisei Godzilla in a lot of these fights, being his size. With his much smaller stature, he is easily able to move around and blitz other kaiju. Now, as we've covered many times on this channel now, Behemoth got his most durable part of his body, that being his tusks, snapped off by a kaiju made of trees and mud. The only thing he's got going for him is his regeneration, but Showa Godzilla could easily do enough damage to the point where Behemoth just goes down. Again, with pretty much no difficulty, Showa Godzilla moves on. Next up is a giant nature monster, Amulek. Amulek is a very interesting kaiju, using telekinesis to use his body out of the things around him. We don't know how much he can lift though, so before anyone has an argument saying, oh, he could lift Showa Goji, not really. It's kind of a flawed argument. Now, the issue with Amulek is that, he's made out of trees, a very flammable thing, and well, putting the tree monster against the fire-breathing lizard isn't the best idea. Now, before anybody talks about this psychic blast that I could say could injure Heisei Godzilla just has the weakness of having a second brain, while Showa Goji doesn't have to worry about that, so it wouldn't do anything to Showa Goji. So again, he moves on. Next up is the male and female Muto. This is where Showa Goji is going to be annoyed more than anything. Now, the male Muto could easily pull around Showa Goji, but Showa Goji could also just... And then there's the female, who would be the actual first threat to Showa Goji. Though, she wouldn't be too bad. As her overwhelming size and sharp claws could give her an advantage, but again, Showa Goji is so fast and strong, anything she throws at him, he can just throw back tenfold. Now, at the same time, they would be a challenge, but due to the male Muto's poor durability, Showa Goji could deal with him quickly, and then it would just, be back to being a 1v1 between him and the female. And well, yeah, female Muto's not making it. So again, Showa Godzilla moves on. Next up is the Muto Prime. The Muto Prime is very strong, showcasing her strength when she breaks apart tectonic plates. Now, while the Prime packs a serious punch, she is relatively slow. Showa Goji could easily blitz her and launch punch after punch after punch. So while the Muto could lay Showa Goji on the ground, if she were to, land a punch, he could quickly just get right back up and just keep going. Next up is where Heisei Godzilla lost, Kong. So let's see if Showa will make it past the ape. Now, I said Kong will win against Heisei due to his insane IQ, as, well, Heisei's kind of an idiot. Though, unlike Heisei Godzilla, Showa is very smart, and has already faced a Kong in his time. So the big issue Showa will face is the sheer size and agility of Kong. being much smaller than Kong, and Kong also weighing around 90,000 tons. Showa Goji, is going to have more difficulty actually picking him up and throwing him around, unlike the Mudos. And Kong's axe should be able to absorb one of Showa's beams. Now, while it is close, I think due to Goji's superior strength and durability, he should move on with like mid-difficulty. Now is where it starts to get difficult. Showa Godzilla will face off against Mechagodzilla. And I don't want to hear anyone say he's a Kong victim. Kong without his charged axe would get unimaginably packed up by Mechagodzilla. Anyways, back on topic. Mechagodzilla is massive, almost 3 times larger than Showa Godzilla. And Showa Goji can't just throw him away, as Mechagodzilla weighs 600,000 tons. While speed still goes to Showa Godzilla, agility is now taken from him and goes to Mechagodzilla. Thanks to him being naturally agile and his built-in thrusters, he can pretty much just move left to right like it's nothing. But we need to know, can he win? And if so, how? Well, maybe. While his beam wouldn't do much, his kicks would do more, since we know his kicks are physically stronger than his own beam. While Mechagodzilla could ragdoll Showa Goji like he did with Monsterverse, I just don't think he can kill him. Again, thanks to Showa Godzilla's insane durability, and also the fact that it's, Mechagodzilla, it doesn't have any regeneration. So with like high to extreme difficulty, Showa Godzilla moves on. Next up is the one who is many, King Ghidorah. Now this one is tough. Now some of you may remember my argument in the last Showa video, and he was able to damage Mechagodzilla who lives in a black hole. Issue is, Monsterverse Goji is just about as strong as one. Now I don't usually like using statements. For this battle we need to be a little bit more in depth. It is stated that Legendary Godzilla's beam is stronger than anything in nature. Though not just on Earth, but in general. Meaning his beam is more powerful than the force of a black hole. Now what does powerful mean? That's kind of up to interpretation. But if we assume it literally just means it's more destructive than a black hole, then Showa Goji's feat of tearing off Mechagodzilla's head isn't really too impressive anymore. So for this, let's go category by category. Strength. This one is a tie, as Ghidorah pretty easily lifts up the 99,000 short ton Godzilla, but Showa Goji lifts the 91,000 metric tons Zendora. So when you convert the short tons to metric tons, it's almost exactly the same. So I don't really think either of them have a clear advantage. Speed. This one goes to Showa Goji, who, as I said, can fly at Mach 1, while Ghidorah can only get around Mach 6, I think, off the top of my head. IQ. This one can be argued for either side, but if you were to ask me, I'd probably say Showa has the slight advantage. Durability. Now, I know it sounds whack, but I'm gonna give it to Ghidorah. Now, hold on. I know I'm talking about, like Showa Goji taking a beam that's stronger than a gun that can no-sell a planet, but when you have to connect a dot to a dot to a dot to a dot to a dot to, like, say something that's, like, factual, it just gets tangled and contradicts itself. While Ghidorah never got damaged until Goji went supercharged in the Monsterverse. So, there is an argument for either side. I'm gonna have to give the very slight durability edge to Ghidorah. Agility. This one's pretty easily Goji. I've seen people argue that Ghidorah is agile and the consensus is that his necks are pretty agile, but they say that as if the rest of his body is as agile as his necks, which is a pretty stupid theory to put together with no backing. So agility goes to Goji. So with a score of 4-2, Goji moves on, is what I would normally say. But while Showa Goji packs a punch, he has never faced something that can regenerate to the extent of King Ghidorah. So while he would win in a, fighting boxing type manner, I just don't think he can kill him. So I mean, it's really up to you guys. You have a fight in the comments, go for it. While Showa Goji is better in a lot of ways, I just don't think he can do enough damage to stop Ghidorah's regeneration. And when you see in Godzilla vs. Kong, his literal just skull, just bone, is still active enough to take over a mech. So Goji would have to pretty much destroy every atom of him. And I mean, if he does get past Ghidorah, he's probably not making it past Shinomura, as Shinomura's regeneration is literally unmatched, and he can on-the-fly evolve himself, so he could just evolve himself to have acid or something sharp to stab into Showa Goji, pretty much just exploiting his weaknesses. Now, as I mentioned in the past verse swaps, I am in no way saying blank Goji would beat blank Goji. I'm just saying if they swap fights, how they'd, perform. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, if you want to see more kaiju content, make sure to subscribe. I can promise you, if you like this video in any capacity, you'll love the rest of this channel. Anyways, everybody, you know the deal. As always, keep collecting. Godzilla Guy out. See ya.